Hey Gemini, I just sat down with my deck and honestly, the energy coming through for you right now is intense. Someone is absolutely desperate to communicate with you, and the cards are practically vibrating with this message. So let me share what I'm seeing because this is one of those readings where the universe really wants you to pay attention. I pulled the first card and got the Knight of Swords. You know what this tells me? Someone is rushing toward you with information or a conversation that they've been holding back for way too long. This isn't someone who's taking their time or being careful with their words. This is swift, direct, almost urgent energy. The Knight of Swords doesn't mess around. When this card shows up, it means someone has made a decision to finally speak their truth to you and they're coming in hot. What's fascinating about this energy is that it's been building for a while. This person has been thinking about what they want to say, maybe even rehearsing it in their head. But now they've reached a point where they can't hold it in anymore. The Knight of Swords is all about that moment when someone decides that silence is no longer an option. They're charging forward with their message, and honestly, Gemini, you need to be prepared for some very direct communication coming your way. This could be someone from your past reaching out, or it might be someone in your current circle who's been biting their tongue. Either way, the energy is very yang, very masculine in nature, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a man, but it does mean the approach will be assertive and straightforward. No beating around the bush with this one. The interesting thing about the Knight of Swords is that this person believes what they're saying is the truth. They're not trying to manipulate or play games. They genuinely feel like they need to get this message to you, almost like it's their mission or duty. There's a sense of righteousness in their approach, like they've convinced themselves that you need to hear what they have to say. Now I'm pulling the second card and I got the Ten of Wands. Oh, Gemini, this explains so much about why this person needs to talk to you. They've been carrying a heavy burden, probably related to something they haven't told you or something they've been keeping to themselves. The Ten of Wands is that card of overwhelm, of carrying too much responsibility or too many secrets. This person feels absolutely weighed down by whatever they're holding on to. Can you imagine walking around every day with this thing on your chest? This message or truth that you feel like you need to share but you've been putting it off? That's exactly what this person has been going through. They've been carrying this weight, and it's been affecting them more than you probably realize. Every day that passes, this burden gets heavier for them. They might have tried to convince themselves that keeping quiet was the right choice, but the weight of it has become unbearable. What makes this even more intense is that the Ten of Wands suggests this isn't just a light confession or casual conversation they want to have. This is something significant. Something that's been impacting their daily life. They might have been losing sleep over it, constantly thinking about whether to tell you or not, weighing the consequences of speaking up versus staying silent. The Ten of Wands in this position tells me that this person has been struggling alone with this information or feeling. They haven't really been able to share it with anyone else because it's specifically meant for you. Maybe it's something about how they feel about you, or perhaps it's information that directly involves you. Either way, they've been the sole carrier of this weight and they're exhausted from it. I'm seeing that this burden might have even started to affect other areas of their life. When you carry something heavy like this, it doesn't just stay in one compartment of your existence. It bleeds into everything. Their work might be suffering, their other relationships might be strained, their mental health could be taking a hit. All because they haven't released this thing they need to tell you. Let me pull the third card and see what else is coming through. I got the Nine of Swords and, wow, Gemini, this person has been losing sleep over this. The Nine of Swords is the anxiety card, the worry card, the card of those 3 a.m. thoughts that won't let you rest. This person has been lying awake at night, playing out scenarios in their head about how this conversation might go. The Nine of Swords tells me they're genuinely worried about your reaction. They're afraid of how you'll respond when they finally say what they need to say. They've probably imagined every possible outcome, from the best-case scenario to the absolute worst. This mental torture they've been putting themselves through is real, and it's been going on for longer than you might think. What's heartbreaking about this energy is that their worry might be worse than the actual situation warrants. The Nine of Swords often represents anxiety that's disproportionate to reality. They've built this up so much in their mind that they might be catastrophizing about what will happen. They're imagining you being angry, or hurt, or disappointed, or walking away completely. These fears have been haunting them, I'm also picking up that this person might have tried to reach out to you multiple times but backed down at the last minute. You know those moments when you feel like you need to say something important but then you chicken out? That's been happening to them repeatedly. They might have typed out messages and deleted them, picked up the phone and put it down, or even been in your presence and couldn't find the courage to speak up. The Nine of Swords is showing me that this internal struggle has been really affecting their well-being. They might seem distracted or distant if you've been around them lately. If this is someone you've been in contact with, you might have noticed them being a bit off, maybe not their usual self. That's because their mind has been consumed with this thing they need to tell you and the anxiety around it. Now let me see what the fourth card reveals. I pulled the Three of Cups, and this is interesting because it shifts the energy quite a bit. The Three of Cups is about celebration, friendship, and emotional connections. This tells me that despite all the anxiety and burden this person is carrying, there's actually a positive foundation to your relationship with them. Or maybe what they want to tell you could lead to something worth celebrating. The Three of Cups often shows up when there's genuine affection and care between people. So even though this person is nervous and carrying this weight, their intentions toward you are good. They're not coming from a place of wanting to hurt you or cause drama. There's real friendship or love at the core of this, which is why they've been struggling so much with whether to speak up. This card makes me think that the outcome of this conversation might actually bring you two closer together, even if the initial revelation is uncomfortable or surprising. The Three of Cups is about deepening bonds through shared emotional experiences. Sometimes we connect most deeply with people when we're vulnerable with each other, when we share the hard truths and the difficult feelings. I'm also seeing that there might be a social or group element to this situation. Maybe this person wants to tell you something that involves other people in your circle, or perhaps the thing they're carrying affects a friendship group you're both part of. The Three of Cups can indicate that this isn't just a private matter between you and them, but something that has wider implications for your social connections. There's a sense of wanting to restore harmony and joy to the relationship or situation. This person believes that once they finally tell you what they need to say, there can be a return to genuine connection and celebration. They're hoping that honesty will clear the air and allow for authentic relating again. The burden they're carrying is preventing real closeness, and they know it. Let me pull the fifth card to see more about the nature of this communication. I got the Four of Pentacles, and this is revealing something important about what this person has been holding on to. The Four of Pentacles is about control, possession, and holding things close. This person has been guarding whatever they need to tell you very carefully, almost possessively. The Four of Pentacles suggests that this information or feeling they have might relate to something material or practical in nature. It could be about money, resources, security, or something tangible in your shared reality. Or it might be that they've been controlling information, keeping it locked away like a precious resource they're afraid to spend or share. What's striking about this card is the energy of protectiveness mixed with fear. The Four of Pentacles person holds on tight because they're afraid of loss or change. This person might have convinced themselves that keeping this secret or holding back this communication was a way of protecting something valuable. Maybe the relationship itself, maybe their own security, maybe your feelings. But the Four of Pentacles also shows rigidity and the problems that come from holding on too tight. When you grip something so firmly, you can't receive anything new. This person's attempt to maintain control by keeping quiet has actually created more problems than it solved. The very thing they were trying to protect by staying silent might be at risk because of their silence. I'm seeing that they might have some fear around scarcity or loss, like they believe that if they tell you this thing, they'll lose something important. Maybe they think they'll lose your friendship, your trust, or some kind of security or stability they get from the relationship. The Four of Pentacles is cautious and conservative, always worried about protecting what's already there rather than trusting in abundance and possibility. Now the sixth card is coming through and I pulled the Ten of Pentacles. Oh Gemini, this is big because the Ten of Pentacles is about legacy, family, long-term security, and lasting foundations. Whatever this person needs to tell you has implications for the future, for something they want to build or establish that has staying power. The Ten of Pentacles makes me think this conversation might be about commitment, about future plans, or about wanting to establish something solid and enduring with you. This isn't about a casual fling or temporary situation. This is about someone who's thinking long-term, who's considering the bigger picture, and how you fit into their vision of a stable, secure future. If this is a romantic connection, the Ten of Pentacles strongly suggests they're thinking about serious commitment, about building a life together, about all those traditional markers of a lasting partnership. They might want to talk about moving in together, about financial planning together, about meeting family, or even about marriage and children. These are the big-ticket items that the Ten of Pentacles represents. But even if this isn't romantic, the Ten of Pentacles indicates they want to tell you something about how they see you as part of their long-term life in some significant way. Maybe they want to go into business with you, or they see you as part of their chosen family, or they want to establish some kind of lasting partnership or collaboration that goes beyond casual friendship. The weight they've been carrying makes so much more sense now. When you're thinking about big commitments and long-term plans, the stakes feel incredibly high. The fear of rejection or of disrupting something good becomes even more intense. They've been carrying this vision of a future that includes you in a significant way, but they haven't known how to express it or whether you'd be receptive to it. The Ten of Pentacles also suggests that whatever they want to share with you, they've thought it through carefully. This isn't an impulsive declaration or a spontaneous confession. They've been considering this from all angles, thinking about the practical implications, imagining how it could work in real life. They're serious about what they want to say to you. Let me pull the seventh card to understand more about the timing and approach of this communication. I got the Six of Swords, and this is so perfect because it's literally the card of transition, of moving from one state to another, of necessary journeys and important passages. This person is ready to move forward, and they know that this conversation is the boat that will carry them to calmer waters. The Six of Swords indicates that both you and this person have been in a period of turbulence or difficulty, and this communication is part of the healing and transition process. The message they need to share is actually a bridge from where things are now to where they could be. It's not meant to create more chaos, even though it might feel scary for them to initiate. What I love about the Six of Swords is that it promises safe passage. Yes, the journey needs to happen. Yes, there's water to cross. But the boat is sturdy, and there's a guide to help navigate the way. This tells me that even though this conversation might be intense or emotional, it will ultimately lead to a better place for both of you. The destination is worth the journey. The Six of Swords also speaks to mental clarity and perspective. This person has reached a point where they can see the situation more clearly, where they understand that staying in the old pattern isn't serving anyone. They've moved through some of their own mental fog, and now they have more clarity about what needs to be said and why it matters. I'm picking up that the timing of this communication is approaching quickly. The Six of Swords is a card of movement and action, not indefinite waiting. Within the coming days or weeks, this person is going to make their move. They've mentally prepared themselves. They've decided that the risk of speaking is less than the risk of continued silence, and they're ready to cross that water. There's also a sense of relief that will come once this message is delivered. The Six of Swords promises that even if the conversation is difficult, there will be a lightness afterward, a sense of having done the necessary thing, of having been honest and brave enough to speak up. For both of you, there's potential for things to feel clearer and more peaceful once this communication happens. The eighth card I'm pulling is the Sun and Gemini. This is such a positive sign. The sun is pure radiance, truth, clarity, success, and joy. This tells me that whatever this conversation brings, ultimately it leads to something bright and positive. The sun burns away confusion and illumination everything, making the truth impossible to ignore. The Sun card here suggests that this communication, as scary as it might be for this person to initiate, is actually going to bring warmth and light into the situation. There's a revelation quality to the sun, like when something that was hidden becomes visible and instead of it being terrible, it's actually beautiful. The truth that comes out will shine and it will be freeing. I'm seeing that you, Gemini, are going to feel a sense of clarity and understanding once you hear what this person has to say. The sun represents that AHA moment when things suddenly make sense, when you can see clearly what's been going on beneath the surface. Whatever confusion or uncertainty you might have been feeling about this person or situation will dissolve in the light of truth. The sun is also about vitality and renewed energy. After this conversation happens, there's going to be a surge of positive energy for both of you. It's like you've both been operating in shadow or with one hand tied behind your back, and once this is out in the open, you'll both feel more alive, more authentic, more able to be yourselves fully. For relationships, the Sun is one of the best cards you can get. It indicates genuine warmth, mutual respect, honesty, and joy in each other's company. If this person is confessing feelings or proposing a deeper connection, the Sun says that this has the potential to be something really wonderful and life-giving. If they're sharing information or truth, it's something that will ultimately benefit you both and bring more light into your lives. The Sun also represents childlike joy and playfulness. Whatever happens as a result of this conversation, there's potential for you two to connect in a way that feels easy and natural, without all the heaviness that's been there. The games and pretense can fall away and you can just be together in a more genuine way. Now for the 9th card. I'm pulling to see any challenges or things to be aware of, and I got the 5 of Swords. Okay, so this is a reality check card. The 5 of Swords warns that there might be some conflict, some winning and losing dynamic, or some ego involvement in how this conversation unfolds. The 5 of Swords suggests that either this person might come at you with some defensiveness, trying to justify their position or prove they're right about something, or there's a possibility that past conflicts or hurt feelings are part of what they need to address. Someone might have felt defeated or wronged in your relationship, and that's part of what needs to be discussed. This card is cautioning both of you to be aware of ego when this conversation happens. The 5 of Swords can indicate a battle of wills, or a situation where someone is more concerned with being right than with finding mutual understanding. The challenge will be to communicate without turning it into a competition or a conflict where someone has to win and someone has to lose. I'm also picking up that there might have been some miscommunication or misunderstanding in your past that's contributed to this whole situation. The 5 of Swords can show up when people have been talking past each other, when there have been hurt feelings that weren't properly addressed, or when someone has felt dismissed or not heard. The advice from this card is to approach the conversation with openness rather than defensiveness. If this person comes to you with something difficult to hear, try not to immediately go into battle mode. And if you're the one who has things to say in response, be mindful of not trying to wound them or prove them wrong just to protect your own ego. The 5 of Swords reminds us that in important relationships, we need to look for win-win solutions rather than trying to defeat each other. This isn't about who's right and who's wrong. It's about two people trying to understand each other and move forward in a better way. Keep that in mind when this conversation happens. For the 10th and final card, I want to see the ultimate outcome and longer-term energy, so I pulled the 7 of Cups. This is interesting because the 7 of Cups is about choices, possibilities, dreams, and sometimes illusions or confusion. After this communication happens, you're going to have some decisions to make, Gemini. The 7 of Cups indicates that once all the cards are on the table, once this person has said what they need to say, you're going to see multiple possible paths forward. This isn't a situation where there's only one obvious choice or outcome. You'll have options and you'll need to carefully consider which one feels most aligned with your truth and your desires. What's important with the 7 of Cups is discernment. Some of the options that present themselves might look appealing on the surface, but not be grounded in reality. Some might be based on fantasy or wishful thinking, rather than what's actually possible or healthy. You'll need to use your Gemini analytical skills to sort through what's real and what's illusion. The 7 of Cups can also indicate that this situation opens up a whole world of possibilities you hadn't considered before. Once this person shares what they've been holding back, you might suddenly see your relationship or situation in a completely new light. Things you hadn't thought were possible might suddenly be on the table. Or you might realize you have more choices than you thought you did. I'm seeing that you shouldn't rush to make any big decisions immediately after this conversation. The 7 of Cups advises taking time to reflect, to sit with the information, to consider your options carefully. Don't let yourself be swept away by emotion or by the other person's urgency. Give yourself space to think clearly about what you actually want. The 7 of Cups also reminds you to stay grounded in reality rather than getting lost in fantasy. If this person is making promises or painting pictures of a possible future, make sure you're evaluating those possibilities realistically. Are they truly feasible? Are they aligned with your values and goals? Or are they beautiful dreams that might not stand up to the light of day? So, Gemini, let me bring this all together for you. Someone in your life has been carrying a significant burden, something they desperately need to communicate to you. They've been losing sleep over it, anxious about your reaction, holding on to this information or feeling with a white-knuckled grip. They've thought about the long-term implications and they're finally ready to make their move. This communication is coming fast and direct, probably within days or weeks. It's going to be honest and straightforward, no games or manipulation. What they have to say relates to building something lasting and stable, something with real future potential. Yes, there might be some initial tension or conflict to navigate, but ultimately this leads to clarity, warmth, and positive possibilities. Once you hear what they have to say, you'll have choices to make. Take your time with those decisions. Don't let anyone rush you or pressure you into choosing a path before you're ready. The universe is inviting both of you into greater authenticity and truth, and that's always a good thing, even when it feels scary. The cards are really clear that this person cares about you deeply and that their intentions are good. They're not trying to hurt you or create drama. They just finally reach the point where they can't keep carrying this alone anymore. When they come to you, try to receive what they're saying with an open heart, even if it surprises you or challenges you. And Gemini, be gentle with yourself through this. Change and revelation can be disorienting even when they're ultimately positive. Give yourself permission to take time processing whatever you hear. Trust your intuition about how to respond and what choices to make going forward. I hope this reading gave you some insight into what's coming your way. Remember that the truth, even when it's uncomfortable at first, is always better than living in shadow and confusion. Whatever this person needs to tell you, it's clearing the way for something more authentic and real between you.